Welcome to another episode of Life Covered, and I'm your host, Miss Bambi. So today it's all about real estate, and we have two beautiful ladies here that are going to delve deeper into the topic of the different investments that they do at the moment. So we have Airbnbs, house flipping. Can you please introduce yourself? Tell us what you do as a real estate investor. Give us a little background information how it all started.
Is Nades. I'm in the Airbnb business. So it all started like I would say almost going to 3 years ago, and it's not been an easy journey, but it's been worthwhile. So we'll get more into details.
Yeah, my name is Polly, and I've literally been a real estate investor for almost 3 years as well. And getting my first property was a journey which I'm really eager to share with everyone and the ups and downs of it.
Awesome. So, I mean, initially, when we all think real estate, everybody thinks it's just being an agent. And here, you guys are here to shed into the different investment types of investment that you guys do. So, Miss Nadesh, what exactly do you do in the real estate industry?
Actually, so I do short-term rentals. So short-term rentals where you buy a property or you rent a property and you put it on the market for people coming out of town or people that just want to relax somewhere different from their home, and they can just go there and relax and and so on. Um, yeah, so pretty much put these properties on different platforms like Airbnb, Booking, and different softwares as well.
All right. So, what are the key factors to consider when you are evaluating a potential Airbnb property, and how do you determine the cash flow coming from that property?
That's a good question. First off, we have to look at location. Location is very critical to having a rental property because, for example, I'll give an example here in Houston, Texas. Um, Houston has like the biggest medical center, probably in the US. I don't know if in the world, but you want to look at those kind of locations where you can get an Airbnb there because a lot of people come in as travel nurses, doctors, and we have MD Anderson for cancer patients. So you'll find that if you have an Airbnb or a rental property in one of those like the medical
Medical
center,
areas is gonna produce
yes,
a lot of
it's
cash
gonna
flow.
produce a lot of cash flow. Um, Another thing you want to be looking at too is the property as well. You don't want to go get a traditional property because we have traditional properties, we have modern contemporary.
So
So,
what's the difference between traditional and
so
modern?
traditional, I would say, is properties that were built, let's say back in the days, they have a way that just like regular houses that we see, family homes.
Right.
Yeah, but modern contemporary, they're a little bit more chic, I would say. A
Okay.
little bit more out there,
Flashy.
flashy, and so on.
Okay.
Short-term families.
Okay.
Yes, so you want to consider location and also consider a good property as well in terms of considering rental property.
All right. So, how do you manage your day-to-day operations, and like, what are some strategies that you use for handling guest and communication issues for your Airbnb?
Okay, so first of all, Airbnb is just one
One part of it.
So we call it a rental property literally. So you can get this rental property and you can list it on Airbnb. You can list it on Booking.com, and you also have VRBO. So you have a lot of platforms that you can list this property on. A lot of people use Airbnb because
All right. So, how do you manage your day-to-day operations, and what are some strategies that you use for handling your guest and communication issues?
okay, so first off, when you have a rental property, you want to list them on one of these platforms. The biggest one that most people know is Airbnb. Airbnb is one of them. You also have Booking.com, VRBO. You have a bunch of all those platforms. So all you have to do is just list this property on there, and then make sure that you try to encourage your guests to do good reviews. Because
Okay.
those good reviews push you to the top of the platforms. And we're all human beings where some people want to book an Airbnb or rent a property based on a review. So the more good reviews you got, the better
better.
for you. So that actually helps you with cash flow and all of that. And in terms of communication, Airbnb software has made things literally easy for
Easy.
people. You can have customized messages. You don't have to like automated messages.
Okay.
So every now and then, if a guest book, I don't even have to check what's going on. The automated message just immediately goes on welcoming the guest and telling them more about your property and stuff like that. For example, the person has to check in like today at 2. Even if I'm not on the platform, you already have your message I set up and it's able to go out. So that eases communication. The only time you really have to go in and respond is when the guest has like maybe different questions like maybe where can I find this in the house and stuff like that, and you can just go in and respond. But in terms of communication, it's always good to be on top of it. Airbnb always recommends not to respond to customers more than 1 hour. So you try as much as possible to respond in one
Within the
hour
1 hour time
time
frame.
frame and so on. Yeah.
So, I mean, you said that it's good for you to encourage them to kind of like rate your Airbnb and stuff like that. So, do you do anything special to
Yeah,
encourage them?
because if you leave your house dirty, you don't expect them to give you a good review,
True that.
So other than that, like for example, the other things that we go beyond, above and beyond for our guests, not only in like responding in a timely manner, but as well we make sure that they have all they need. So for example, gone to other places where they probably don't have enough toilet papers. So you want to make sure that if you have guests that are booking 7 people, that should give you an idea of what you need to put in the house, how much
Okay.
you need to put, toilet paper, towels, and all of that. So every now and then I try to leave a bottle of wine or whiskey or something just because, depending on how long the person stays. So you encourage
The
the
person might need
to
something to chill,
yeah,
get into relax.
yeah, and when the cleaners to go and they go and clean, I try every now and then to go look at the cleaning and make sure that everything is on point because usually some of these cleaners will,
They
want
will-
to make sure
they will
that you are
play
on top
around
of
it.
and then that gives you like a good ground to be able to tell your guests if you don't mind, please leave me
A nice review.
Yeah.
All right. So you mentioned from the beginning that it's just a short-term rental. So have you had any situation where somebody has wanted to rent probably for a month or two, and then how do you handle situations like that?
I'll give you an example for my fiance. So a couple of days ago, there was an incident where um, the guest had booked to stay for 3 weeks. So we usually don't do that much. We usually do a week, couple of days, 2 weeks. So and this person was a travel nurse. So
Okay.
this guest booked for 3 weeks and 3 weeks like one day because one day before the person checks out, you have this automated messages that go out reminding them
Reminding.
to go at this time. These are the checkout rules. Let me know if you need anything before you check out and so on. And this guest does not respond. Usually most guests will always respond. From
True.
my experience, this person does not respond. And then also try to look at the outside cameras. The cameras at the outside of the
See if
property.
there's any movement, if
And you
anybody
notice
there.
some kind of movement, you notice maybe a handyman, a repair person, maybe an internet company trying to come into the house. So it's a little bit suspicious. My fiance now goes there the next day when the guests had to check out, like maybe 2 hours after they had to check out. And because after trying to call to reach them, to
No
avail,
response.
then he goes and realizes that the guest has all her things in the house, So went ahead to try to pack the things and put maybe in the garage and try to send messages to this person. And this guest goes ahead and call the cops.
For
So,
real.
Guess what? In the beginning, I said, well, I've not been used to having long term. It's probably
Yes.
few, maybe one,
A
at
week.
most, it's been 2 weeks. This person called the cop, and like 6 cops pull up because the person calls and says there's a burglary happening in my property. The cops pull up on my fiance and he said, what's going on? This is my house, literally. And the cops are like, no, you don't do that. The person is there, you have to wait for the person to get out. So that encouraged us to go more and look at more rules and regulations for long-term rentals. So if I'll have to choose, I'd rather do short-term
Than long term.
long-term, those are one of the issues that it may cause, especially if you don't know.
Somebody
the
might
laws
decide to
about
just stay there for eternity.
And literally, if you look at the laws of Texas, if somebody is there like 28 days, you literally cannot kick the person out. You need to go through the court. and keep paying the bills
That's
for
what
that
I do.
person to stay in there.
Yeah.
So
So I'm guessing probably the person you exactly what the
She
rules
was
are.
doing.
exactly. So that was a good learning curve for
For
us.
you.
Yeah. So,
All right, so you've talked about the technology part of it. So you said you guys, for the short-term rentals, you can do what do you call it,
VRBO,
VRBO, so the Airbnb, and there was another.
Booking.com.
All right, so what advice will you give to somebody who is trying to get into the Airbnb, the short-term rental
short-term
business?
rental business. First off, we talk about well, the main thing is getting into location. You don't want to go and get an Airbnb in suburbs and then it doesn't do well. You want to go to an area where there's nightlife. Maybe, for example, we have talked about the medical center. You have NRG stadium where a lot of stars come for concerts and all of that. You want to get Airbnb like in town where you know it's gonna give you a high occupancy rate. And also, when trying to get an Airbnb, you want to keep your mortgage as low as possible. Because let's take it that if you have 30% occupancy, you should be able to pay your mortgage.
Right.
And don't get into this business thinking it's some way to make quick money. Or
It's
get
some kind of
something.
long-term investment.
It's a long term, yeah, it's a long term investment. The more you have to have equity plan, so long as you get your mortgage paid for a rental property, you should be good, you know. And another thing to also try to compare comps. You don't want to be in an area where you have a rental property and you have maybe let's say a daily price of like let's say for example $300 and your competitors have their own prices for 150.
So you have to match up the comparable
They
properties.
you have to match up, you know, you have to do the math, you don't want to go above and beyond too as well. And another thing too, another great advice is you want to decorate your Airbnb very well when you take great pictures, you know.
It's got to look classy.
That's a good selling point for an Airbnb. Yeah.
Awesome. So now over to you, Mrs. Noel. All right, so you are doing something completely different from what she's doing. So tell us a little bit more about your.
All right. Compared to Nadish, it's gonna be a long-term rental. Right?
Okay.
She does short-term rental, but what I specialize in is long-term rentals. And what I do is I'm literally building equity, trying to get homes the cheapest possible, and having them put either for sale or for rent. Now we have regular buyers like you and myself, we can now go on zero and shop around. So what is the deal about flipping properties? Like flipping properties, you get a distressed property, you look for an opportunity because that's what I would say. It's never a bad thing getting someone out of a situation,
Right.
with mortgage, right?
Right.
It's always an opportunity. So once you get a property, you look at the comps, you look at the fair value, you look at what kind of cost you have the property and do the fix and repairs. And then you evaluate the cost. Once you have that and you look at the longer term, what is it gonna implicate? Like, are you gonna put it up for rent? Is it gonna be for Airbnb? Is it gonna be a traditional home where a family is gonna stay? So you have lots of points to take into consideration before getting a fix and flip property. But I feel like getting properties as such is mainly for the long term and building a portfolio. Because the cost to set it up and to get into it isn't that high as compared to what I think short-term rentals would be. Like you mentioned, having like design interior, you have high-end areas, so that gives room for someone to evaluate what he can afford and what he's looking at in terms of long-term.
All right. So you mentioned in the beginning that you're looking at distressed properties. So when you're looking at properties to fix and flip, what are the different types of distressed properties that you look at?
All right. When you talk about distress properties, it actually depends on, like I said, the reason why
The
it's in
situation of the seller.
situation. Because sometimes you can get into a property which has literally nothing to be fixed. You know,
Right.
but
Yeah.
the fact that it's being sold like under the market or maybe for a price which is not the current cost, that's already an opportunity, right? The next point would be the state of the property, or why is the seller having this house up for sale. You can have some people who are backing their taxes, you can have some inherited properties, you can have some tax lien property, you can have even some structural damage property. You just have someone who is trying to get rid of a home which was passed on to him, right? What's he gonna do? So when you come in that lane, you just think about the additional value you can add to the property and make it one of your portfolio.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Got it. So, how do you determine the renovation budget and the scope of work for a house that you have to flip?
Okay, well, in order to determine that, that depends obviously on the scope of work that needs to be done. Like I said, there are certain properties we call them in and out. Like you just come in, you literally like either do paint or you just clean the house.
Okay.
Then you can put it back for smoke. Whereas there are certain properties that might need more work to do, like now it's going to depend. Do you have to do replacement? Do you have to add an additional room? But yeah, that is going to be guided in respect to the ARV, like
Right.
the after repair value, what the house is going to cost after you've done all the cosmetics or rehab. Because like we talked about comps and everything, it's pointless having a 2 bedroom and I have a 2 bedroom. We both, oh, you sell your property at let's say $180,000, and the property which is just beside yours, I think it's pointless saying you want to put a pool in the backyard, right?
Very pointless.
Because it's generally
Same
going to
area, same
appraise the
structure,
area. Yeah,
everything.
so those are certain things you need to take into consideration before heading into like a renovation. So you always look at the market analysis before you deduce, okay, I'm gonna go ahead, either maintain, upgrade, modify. Yeah, that's the certain thing. Or you can think about like instead of what can I do to increase the value? Should I put an island kitchen? Should I add a bathroom? Should I put
So
like
just
a
like
backyard?
little modifications
Yeah,
compared to the
little
comps that
modification
in the
compared
same
to the
area.
comps, what is selling and what's the extra thing you can put up to like the buyer can be attracted to your property.
So, in other words, if the comparable property, or no, if the property that you're fixing, that you're flipping, is like renovated, like with all these top-notch things, and it's like higher in terms of classiness and everything compared to
Yes.
it's gonna be difficult for it to
It's very
sell.
gonna be difficult because what's the need? We are in the same neighborhood, right? All the properties here are priced for let's say 150K to 200. If I
Right.
have to put up a pool, upgrade my kitchen, do you think if I have $300,000 I'm gonna live beside you?
Hell no.
Right?
No point.
No point, right? So
Mhm.
that's why you have like different areas. You need to stay within the limits and the cones. So
Alright.
that's it, yeah. You always
Uh.
need to put yourself in the place of a buyer when you're selling a property. Like just ask yourself, if I'm approved for $300,000, am I going to go into a neighborhood where I have 150K homes? Or
Right.
I'm going to go to a neighborhood where you have 300, 350s, 330s, right? So that's the thing. Always put yourself in the place of the buyer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, how do you handle your negotiations with contractors and suppliers when flipping your
That
homes?
is a tough job because in this field you have everybody knows how to do the job.
That's
Like
right.
John comes, he got you. I don't know who else comes. He's always gonna.
So they're
have a
always
good-
claiming to be
yeah,
experts.
They are always claiming to be expert. But one thing I noticed, or what an advice I would give, don't go for the cheapest. Yeah, don't go for the cheapest. Yep. Crazy as it may sound, don't go for the cheapest.
As they say in French, le moins cher, cher.
Tu vas payer, ta femme va venir. Yeah, don't go for the cheapest, but yeah, but one thing about real estate and contractors, referrals are the top notch, and I
Right.
think it's very similar to reviews.
Mm-hmm.
Referrals. I mean, I've had a situation where I agree with a contractor. He will come, start the job, okay, and then he'll be like, I have to get this done by Tuesday. You all agree on that. But then he's not even going to show up, even if he's already started the job. He's going to leave your area just like that. Even if you've paid, which I had paid, like they disappear, they don't even check back, like they don't really care. So Working
So
with
once they collect
referrals.
their money, you don't know if the person will show up or not.
Oh
Is
my
there not
god.
any kind of
They don't care about
criteria or something
contracts,
that okay, you
bank,
know
take a
what?
photocopy of their ID. It means nothing to them. Like you really need to be keen about
Wow,
referral because referral shows like someone who is being committed and someone with
legit.
whom you've done, they are legit. You guys have done business together and is really ready to move forward with you. So I would say the first thing getting a contractor is about referrals.
Okay.
Then you have your work done, you have past clients, and also since you're working at stake, like with respect to completion, you can
Mm-hmm.
agree to a payment schedule.
Okay.
Once your drywalls are done, I pay you. Once this is complete, I pay you, and so on. Because I will never refer or recommend someone to pay full upfront, except you're dealing with a company. But that's kind of tricky because you have two sides to these contractors. You can come with a deal where you have a builder who is ready to pre-finance your deal from start to finish,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that once it's gonna get at a certain level of completion, the bank issues the payment. Or you can have these contractors which you're gonna source by yourself and
Mm-hmm.
then you pay them upfront as long as they go. Whereas with the builder, you kind of have that serenity, he's gonna get the
Mm-hmm.
job done, he's like a
Mm-hmm.
serious person
Mm-hmm.
compared to these contractors where you need to track them down, make sure they are really doing the job,
Continuous communication.
continuous
But
communication.
have you had a situation where you planned a certain budget for renovation and then towards the end of the project the budget increases?
At times it's not even towards the end, it's at the beginning. Yeah, I've had such a situation like another a flip I did. I started off like we got approval, blah blah blah. First things first, we started on the roofing.
Mm-hmm.
That went great. We started
Smooth.
the demo interior.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as we went to work on the garage, we had a city that came. And once the city issues you a red card, 90 days for you to pick up again.
Are
You
you
have at least,
serious?
yeah, it's gonna stall your business for like 90 days. And guess what?
That's a really long time.
That's the minimum. Like, once you have your business stalled for like 90 days, what does it involve? You have a mortgage, you have the principals and interest that you're paying on that home.
Yes,
You
and
have
you
all
and
the
the
bills.
mortgage payment does not stop
It
because of
doesn't
that.
stop. Yep, it doesn't stop. So, and once the city comes in, you have to build or renovate the house up to code. What does it mean? Like, there is no room for cheating anymore. Like you say, if you need to use certain woods of a certain caliber, it needs to be
That
wood.
one.
It needs to be that cable. It needs to be
Everything
approved.
needs
In
to
short,
be
you have
exactly
your
what
inspectors
is
coming
required.
at each level to verify the plumbing is done, electricity is done, HVAC is done. You have all of those mechanical permits that you need to pull and have it approved. And
Wow.
you need to have a license for when the city
Wow.
gets in. From my
It is
experience,
a different ball game.
once the city gets in, if you can get out of the property, get out of the property. Sell it. Because except you have enough cash reserves to handle that, your initial budget, let's say, which was 50K, can easily skyrocket to 100K. Yes.
But how easy is it to sell a property that already the city is already on it?
Oh, it is easy because what my issue might be might be someone else's solution because once I get a property, let's say it's priced at 80K and I got it at 80K, for example. Once an investor comes in, he's not gonna come in like a regular buyer. He knows the house is incomplete. What he can do is, okay, I can offer you 90K and I'm gonna complete the renovation. So that's how
right.
you have most investors coming in. Or let's say someone who might just have his cash. See, you have at times this contractor, they might not be documented, but they have the money, right? You can easily get into a home. You have different kinds of ways to get property. I think that kind of loan is called the bank statement loan, where they just use your assets or your cash just to evaluate your debt and they pay for the property. Something like that. I'm not too sure of that. That's something I need to check. However, someone can come in and he gets your home as is and he's out of it.
All right.
Yeah.
So how do you stay up to date with the changing market trends, and how do you adjust your house flipping strategy according to the market trends?
Yeah, well, like she said, you need to look at the market. It's true that if you even look at the current market, I think last year, 2 years ago, it wasn't as bad. Right now, the
Mhm.
interest rates
Mhm. Mhm.
way
Mhm.
more better.
Mhm.
But mortgage or the real estate is an interesting business. It's one way you buy and wait rather than wait and buy, right? So I
Mhm.
believe that in order to be flexible, you just look at what you can afford at a certain point in time,
Mhm.
then you go for it. If you're not ready to like put enough money down to like invest really in the property, there are so many things you can do. There are Section 8 home which are available,
Mhm.
or you
Mhm.
can build a portfolio based on Section 8 home, for example.
Okay.
Section 8 homes are not really expensive. You can find a property between 100K and 200K
Mhm.
as long as it passes the inspection. You get
Wow.
a lender who is ready to go in for that loan. And if you get a Section 8 tenant, it means you're good for the rent.
Wow.
Section 8 tenants are those who are subsidized by the government, right? So they don't really pay out of pocket. It's the government that pays you. So if you're able to start off with that kind of technique before
Mhm.
maybe you get ready to get into with Airbnb
So
or
just
to
go
get
with that
maybe
first.
multi-town homes, you see, you just there are so many techniques about getting into real estate,
There are
irrespective of
so
how the
many
market
open
is.
doors.
Yeah, irrespective of how the market is, everyone just needs to work with the budget. Like
Mhm.
there are some homes which you can obtain with zero down,
Mhm.
right? There are
Mhm.
so many funding options. So
Mhm.
I just believe that you just need to be flexible and
Mhm.
open to the different opportunities that
Right.
you have. Yeah,
Are there any similarities between what you do and what she does?
yeah.
Is
Real
there any
estate.
similarities? Is there any similarity between the two, between the house flipping and the short-term
At
rental?
the end of the day, we are homeowners,
Yeah.
right?
There you
It's
go.
all real estate.
It's all real estate,
Okay,
but then her experience is so
different
different.
from yours.
Yeah, short-term rentals. I deal with
Long
long-term
term.
rentals where I need to even evict some tenants who don't
Wow.
pay. Like I rented out one of my property. I thought the lady was a ghost. You know,
Are you serious?
yeah, because can you imagine this property was rented for almost a year? The dishwasher has never been started, but she had two kids living in there, and she will never pay her rent. Like she's never home. But when you get to her house, she speaks out, you only see the trash can in front of her, and you have bottles of liquor everywhere. You don't know what's happening in
Wow.
your home. Yeah. We literally had
Wow.
to file an eviction. We went to court. Lucky enough, she didn't show up. So the judge granted
Really
it
your
to
favor.
us. Yeah. So the next day we went
That
to an
was
officer
definitely a
to
ghost member.
evict her. But yeah, real estate comes with its ups and downs. But once you have a tenant who pays good, you are good.
Awesome.
Like you are good,
So
good.
it is a good thing to invest in.
100%. And like you said, or like she also mentioned, it's not a quick thing. Like
It's
Yeah.
long-term
it's a
investment.
long term investment. Yeah, it's a long term investment.
It's not a fast way to
Fast
get
money.
that.
No,
No
it's not
fast money
fast
tracking,
money.
guys.
No,
You
you
get
take
that?
your time.
Okay.
You're building equity. You're building your portfolio,
Mhm.
right? The beautiful thing is this house that is valued at 160K. You bought it at 80K. No one knows, right? So you have equity compared to getting a house on the market. But once you get a house on the market, that saves you all the stress. And as long as your mortgage is being paid,
Paid.
like for example, her short-term rentals,
You're
life
good.
is sweet.
So, what advice are you going to give to someone who is trying to get into flipping?
Go for it. There is no way you're gonna know everything from the
Through
beginning,
that.
but go for it and like be committed. Go into it to learn. Don't go into it to make money because as you
You'll
go
be
into
very
it,
disappointed.
You'll be very
Yeah.
disappointed.
Okay.
And it's like with most businesses,
Yeah.
you have to be open-minded.
Yeah.
You have to learn a lot.
Exactly.
You have to know the laws and regulations that surrounds the business.
Right. Go into it to learn. Don't go into it to make money. No one made money
In
initially.
the first day, true.
No, that's not true. Well, if someone did, you can contact me.
Yeah. And that's like generational wealth to be for your kids. You know?
Right. Go for it and learn the business, learn the ups and downs, and be ready to lose just as you're winning. But remember one thing: the knowledge you're getting from it, you can't put an amount on it.
True.
If you really sit down.
It lasts forever.
Yeah, it lasts forever. And then you now have the different techniques, the route, and take different evaluation. And always have a great team. I believe your team is comprised of your lender, your realtor, your contractor, the title company, and yourself. Like if you have this rating, you should be good to go, because if you have a great lane, that means that you find a good property, right? You have a realtor who's going to be able like advise you on the comps and everything. If you have a contractor, like a good team of contractors, your plumber, electrician, means you're always going to be under the regular cost, or you avoid certain scams or extra expenditures. And then once you have a great title company, you're just going to have your deals closing. But go for it.
Yeah.
Go for
Awesome.
it.
So,
Yeah.
guys, so Miss Nade. So, where is your short-term property located?
I actually have a couple. So like I mentioned, my fiance and I we do this back and forth. So the main one we have is the energy center. So it's like 5 minutes walk from the energy center. And the energy center is, I don't know what the occupancy. So well, long story short,
It's in a popular area.
It's in a
yeah.
popular
So
area.
a lot of people come in for concerts, football matches, and so on.
Yeah,
So,
rodeo.
yeah. The music rodeo,
Awesome.
livestock show.
So, we will put the details of her property in the description box below for anybody that is visiting Houston and would like a chic and classy place to live in. She's got you covered.
Yes.
So you find every detail that you want in the description box below. But then, ladies, it was awesome having you girls here today. We sure really learned a lot. You keep it up, and thank you for, because I know that this is going to be very encouraging for other ladies that are going to watch this as well. So thank you girls for the advice. It's been awesome having you on this platform. And that said, thank you guys for watching this beautiful episode, and come back another time and watch the episode.
Make sure
with
to
us.
subscribe.
All right, thank you all, and see you another episode of Live Covered. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.